5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're old, groaning like a geezer.
You know, I had originally tagged on to the ending of this opening sequence one of the clip from one of the worst sci-fi movies I think I've ever seen. It had this giant bird thing. I can't even remember what it was called. It was like, it looked like a Muppet, except not as good. It was incredible. And yet for some reason it was too long and StreamYard wouldn't download it with that clip on the end of it. So you're just gonna have to use your imagination. And maybe if I ever remember what the name of that movie was, I'll let you guys know. But we are doing 50s sci-fi today. This is Graybeard's Studio. This is episode 118, if you can believe it. We have a power pack show. Lots of talent on here today. We have guest stars galore. It's amazing. So hang on to your, as they say in Jurassic Park, hang on to your butts. Let's get it going, and let's bring in a guy who's always hanging on to his butt. It's David Williams. Hello, David.
Yo, I don't care if I'm echoing.
You're fine. You're
okay.
fine. You've done it. You've
Yeah,
controlled your mic. Excellent. So, of course, David's going to find a way to draw a sci-fi Batman today. I'm almost positive of it. So we'll see. Let's bring in a guy. He comes in a slot early because Gary is out golfing this week, so he couldn't be bothered to actually do the show. So he's off the payroll. But please welcome our good friend Dan Lawless. Hey, Dan.
Hey, I bumped him off. That's cool.
That's right. You moved up. You're like the pecking order.
I had some people take care of him. You know, he's in my way.
That's right. It's like 10 little Indians. You just keep knocking one off, and pretty soon there was just Dan will be the only one left. We're going to bring in a guy here that hasn't been in a while, but comes in. He's a frequent co-host on the show. You know him as CORAN Stone. That's what I know him as too, but let's welcome him. CORAN, hey. What room are you in today? This is not the basement.
Oh, no, this is the upstairs at my father's place. Okay. They keep me in the attic every once in a while. Lock the doors up. You know.
Better in the basement.
Do you have Coke? Do you have bottled Coke everywhere in the house, or is it stored in one specific place?
No, I don't sniff that stuff anymore. I just try to keep this. Oh, wait. What do you?
The Coca-Cola is the drinking, not the drugs.
No.
I don't want to get into your past.
No. Yeah, no. I don't actually. I haven't drank Coke in in the year almost.
Are you kidding me? You're on the wagon. I guess it would be right. So
I just drink water now these days.
Now, see, I've been preaching.
They don't give me Coke up here.
Okay, there you go.
By the way, I never understood that analogy, the off the wagon, on the wagon thing. It sounds like, you're which is which? If you're on the wagon,
you're on the wagon, you're not drinking. If you fall off the wagon, then you're back to
I think it's reversed, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, you know what?
Let's get someone who knows what they're talking about.
I'm going to bring in someone who knows.
When you've fallen off and you're back to drinking.
Yeah. So anyway,
that doesn't make sense. I don't think it's that way.
Okay, now who's being staticky? Is that you, CORAN?
I don't. Does it sound like it's me when I talk?
No, I think it is you. It's not David.
Is it?
You're staticky. Okay. Oh, hang on. Okay. Well, let's bring in our guest who is very much intellectual, because not only does he draw comics, he writes comics. He's created some great comics like the Elementals, Fables, which that's a story in and of itself we're going to get into. Please welcome our new friend to the show, Bill Willingham. Bill, thank you for coming on, man. We really
Hey, well, thanks for inviting me. I did my best to grow a beard for this. It's coming in nicely.
Yeah, it is. See, you're going to stick with it. Maybe by next year you'll have one as full and luscious as mine, and we can have you back. See, I got that Sicilian Italian blood, and this hair just grows like in seconds. So
takes me a long time to grow mine.
I know you. I looked at the first time you were on the show, Dan, and you were like clean shaven.
Oh, baby face, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like almost 2 years ago. So it has taken you that long. Just
I shave. I still sometimes get carded, you know.
that's a good thing, though.
Yeah. I'm gonna be 60 this year in a couple months.
Now we Bill, you had seen the poll we posted for 50 sci-fi. I swear, David, you're off the show.
It's Gary.
Make sure I'm.
Is it Gary calling you? Are you kidding me? Bill's sitting there going, "This is the most unprofessionally run show I've ever seen in my life."
What's poppin', G?
It's part of our charm.
Oh my gosh! Hang on a second. There we go. I muted you, David. Okay, so Bill, you saw the poll we had and made a comment about hoping it would be 50 sci-fi, and I was like, we should invite this guy on the show. And you were gracious enough to say yes. And again, appreciate you being here. Are you you apparently are a fan of old science fiction? Is that what I'm getting?
Oh yeah. I mean, 50s science fiction. I kind of strutted and bellowed that it had to be Forbidden Planet or nothing, and I guess I stand by that. But it made me recall what was going on in the 50s back then. I mean, we had giant ants, we had giant tarantulas, we had just every kind of rubber monster you could imagine running around, and I loved it. I grew up the Colossus and the 50-foot tall woman and just eating up cities right and left. I love that stuff.
Did you know? Because I just found this out. I wasn't even just stumbled on it, that they did a remake with Daryl Hannah of the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman.
I think I was aware of it. I don't think I saw it.
It was like 1993, and I was like, isn't that kind of when she was like really popular? I was like, why would she be doing that movie?
Look at how you try to avoid saying when she was really big.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was big, and she did the 50-foot tall woman. Yeah,
and then apparently Tim Burton is in the works to do another version of it. So
yeah,
we shall see. All righty, guys, let's normally I go through the chat, but whenever I have a guest, because we have so much stuff to do and so little time. Oh my God. David,
don't mute me.
Who is it?
Somebody's calling on the bad phone.
Hello?
David likes to embarrass people that call him by putting them live without telling them.
Yo, G, you're live. Talk to everybody.
Yeah. What's up? What's up, David? What's going on?
Let's all just make a call to our favorite people and
yeah, call cool people so we can sort of get more clout.
Is am I still staticky when I speak?
No, you're good. This episode has already been, we bring a special guest on. All we are is fraught with technical difficulties the whole time. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick round, do a little show and tell, then we're going to get into this and start drawing, because I've got a pretty good idea, but it's not something I can implement quickly. So I want to make sure we have enough drawing time, because I'm concerned about how I look, Bill, on the show. I don't really care about anybody else, but my stuff, I got to give myself the best chance to succeed. So, Dan, do you have anything you want to share with us?
Well, you don't pick me first. You always pick me last. I'm not ready.
David's on the phone, apparently. He heard his business before the show starts.
I could show you what that drawing I did last week, and I colored it. Hang on a second. I got the.
Is that the Frost Giant's daughter?
Frost Giant's daughter, or yeah, Frost Giant's just without the
Yo,
daughter.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Gary was trying to talk to everybody, and you kept muting me.
Because we couldn't hear him. It was just all mumbly.
Man.
Okay, Aaron, there it is. Okay. So I colored this. Now, I did send the original. David should be arriving Friday, the pencils. So you can.
You're the only responsible one on this show because I haven't sent mine out yet to you, and I know David hasn't sent his to me yet either.
Yes. Well, I'll be supplying the tracking number later, so I'm even more efficient. I'm just gonna rub it.
Well, we still have 2 weeks because next week Jeff Johnson's coming on, and so it'll be the following week. We'll be inking these.
Plenty of time. Actually, I could show you this too. Somebody, let me close that one for a second. Somebody, a guy named the Scotsman, already did ink it, and darn, I wish it opened.
You know, I saw that on Twitter. It wasn't too bad. It was very slick.
Really nice.
Yeah, it was very slick, which is not typical for. It's like
well, you know how it is. You get my lines, and they're pretty. They're pretty sketchy and.
Open to interpretation, I think they call it.
Yeah.
All right, there it is.
So I thought it was pretty cool, man. It was what it was interesting is how he handled like he stylized these the hair. I thought that was kind of different, So yeah, there's a lot of things about it I like.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. It's slick.
Yep. It almost looks like he did it digitally. Doesn't it kind of look digital?
Yeah, the arm hair, everything looks kind of perfect.
Don't look too perfect, like you duplicated him.
Yeah, kind of does feel like
it's
that.
Fine, actually, it makes an interesting look, but
yeah, I don't know.
It's cool anyway. It's fun to see people. He asked for the scan, and I sent it to him, and worked out kind of cool.
No, it looks good.
So.
Scotsman TV for $5. Thank you for that very much. Greetings, gents. Can't wait to see the Suburb art today. Had tons of fun working on Dan from Giant Peas.
He's the guy.
There it is. That's the guy right there. Just inked it.
The guy.
He says it's 100% digital, but every line is done by hand. Nothing duplicated. Okay, there you go.
Okay, well then he's pretty good at it.
Yeah,
his line work there because those lines look pretty uniform and good.
Stealth X5 for $2 says hello. Thanks, Stealth. We appreciate that very much. David, do you have something you want to share with us?
Yes. Actually, it's a bunch of old stuff that I'm supposed to mail out, but I need the people to send me their email address.
Okay,
their home
that
address.
One's good.
This belongs to somebody. This belongs to somebody.
Oh, wait a minute. What was that? Wait, what was that dinosaur one from?
No, remember we did Godzilla or something like that?
Oh, that was that's right. You did the animated Godzilla or something. That's right.
I thought that was Denver the last time. Oh, that's sweet. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that one turned out great. Yeah, that's when we did the Max.
Oh, nice.
And of course, Rune. So all of these are spoken for?
Yeah, and I need those people to email me. They got my email address. I mean, my email, and so I could get these things shipped out. And then I got something in the mail that I shouldn't have gotten. Gary accidentally mailed this to the wrong person.
So he mailed it to you.
Cool. Yeah.
Are you going to keep it?
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about getting my grandson to color it.
Well, you got it. Yeah, scan it, man. Have
the punishment for getting it wrong.
It's exactly.
I got this new T-shirt I want to share with you guys.
All right.
Ooh, that's pretty good, man.
Wait a minute.
Wait. Hey!
I thought you were golfing at Bandon Dunes. What the heck?
We can't get away from that guy, man.
So Gary's here. He's gonna read the chats, and
Wait a
he's
minute.
not golfing yet.
Wait a minute. Gary's going to do his job?
Yes, he's gonna do his job. See, they're all talking all your smack, and he's here still doing his job.
Well, on vacation too. That's amazing because he doesn't do his job when he's here, but he's going to do it when he's on vacation. That doesn't make any sense. But welcome, Gary. Thanks for joining us. All right.
He cannot quit us. You know, you don't know how to quit us.
I can't quit us. All right, Kaiser, what are we looking at here?
Oh shoot! I didn't even know I was on screen. Wait a minute. Let me put this away.
Wait a minute, am I not supposed to show this?
Oh no, I don't mind.
Okay.
Let me turn my iPad back on. Okay, here it is. All right. I was just practicing with the Thundercats, doing my own version of the Thundercats. This is Panther.
Right.
From Thundercats.
The stuff you're the stuff you are working on, you can't show us, right? The stuff you're you're getting paid for right now, you can't show us.
And I can't show you any of that stuff, but this is stuff that I would love to work on Thundercats because I'm a huge fan. Chitara from Thundercats.
Yeah, well, that Rankin Bass animation was cool, well drawn. All that Rankin Bass stuff was pretty cool. Had solid drawing base.
Oh, that's nice. I like that pose.
This is Tigra, and then this is Lionel, my version of all these characters.
I assume you're going to color these at some point, or are you just going to black and white?
Oh no, I colored them up, but that's on my other iPad.
Okay.
But yeah, I did a version of them before I did that one, and I wasn't really too. I didn't really care for these. I mean, you know, my friends like it, but I was like, I think I could do better.
So these aren't commissions or anything. These are just you messing around.
Yeah, it's like practice. It's like character design practice to see how I could, be more liberal with lines and all that.
Tigra needs a little more vavavoom, you know.
Huh?
She needs a little more vavavoom, you know.
Yeah. So the other one, that's the reason why I did the other Chitara. I didn't want her to be too buxom or anything like that. I wanted to more elongated, like a cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she
wanted her to be Chitara.
They're named more like they're named after the cat. So she's like a tiger, and this guy is of course Panther. Our Panther. So I made their face look more feline than
Right.
So yeah, it was just for fun. Nice. A little fun character design study that I like to do. I show my class, like some of my students, on how to break down characters, but still make them cool, create interesting silhouettes and everything like that.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
All right, Bill, do you have anything you want to show the kids in the audience?
Well, not too much. I still draw, unlike the rumors would have you think. But for the last year, a little more than a year, I've been writing a prose novel.
Really?
Actually, 3 prose novels because it was a trilogy, and because someone who will not be named kind of ruined continued prose series for everyone. I mean, publishers want guarantees that whatever will be finished. And the only way to guarantee it, of course, was to finish all 3 of them, which I just completed about 20 minutes before this show. I'd show you screenshots of the script, but that would be stupid.
Now, do you ever think about doing spot illustrations for these prose novels and make them illustrated books in that regard, or is he just you just?
Oh yes, the next project after this will be that. But
okay,
I do try and take breaks to keep my hand in. I'll show this to the. This is Space Hero, a kind of a Space Ghost knockoff with a twist, and I've been doing spot illustration character designs for this, which is one of the projects I'll get to someday.
Is that your lettering down at the bottom?
Yeah, yeah.
That is exceptional lettering.
Yeah.
I always see people that can letter and it pisses me off because I can't. My lettering stinks.
Yeah, line work is so good.
Well, I got to tell you, I letter.
Let's see that last one
First.
Let's see
So
that
that
last
I'll know how much room I have for art.
Well, that makes sense. Show us that last drawing. You had it in your hand. You didn't show it.
Didn't see it.
Oh, did I not? What was it?
I don't know.
The last one you put down.
This is Space Heroes Space.
No, the one after that. There was another one
You
after.
had another one in your hand right after that.
Yeah, all right. Hold
I'll
on.
make you show them all again.
I didn't know
There
you
we
were paying attention.
Yeah, we're paying attention. We're always
just
watching.
Various character designs for
Lactagore.
Yeah, very Kirby-like, yeah.
So is this going to be? So is this a graphic novel or an illustrated novel? These drawings that are you doing?
Probably like pulp prose stuff with lots of illustrations.
I gotcha.
Don't hold me to that.
Okay, I won't. You heard it here first, folks, but don't hold them to anything you hear.
And I've been doing D&D-esque illustrations. This is the what does it say? The magic sword of the underboob. For kids.
Nice.
Coming up with monsters,
Very nice.
etc.
But
excellent.
Mostly writing.
Yeah, I want to delve into that a little bit more with you once we start drawing. I have a gazillion questions for you. Let me take a moment real quickly, and I probably shouldn't show this. This is like page 39 for Wraith of God 3, but we're going to do it anyway. Only
Aaron, why do
because
you always say I probably shouldn't show it, but then you show it anyway.
well, you know, it kind of heightens the drama, Gary. All right, no, there's a particular reason I'm showing this is because this is kind of a combination. This is a flashback scene, and so you got this combination of panel art as well as kind of this mismatch of images. So I inked her with a pen, and then I thought, you know what? I need to, you know, do a little brush work. So I inked him with a brush and him with a brush. And then I inked this kid figure down here with a brush. And then I went back in and did the rest of it with a pen. So as Mike Plug and Kevin Nolan both told me once when I asked them, what did they use to ink with? They said, whatever's close by. And so I had a little fun there with both. But you can see the little Wrightsony feather lines there, Gary.
I'm noticing the hand looks AI. It looks like he's got 6 fingers.
Oh, that's it. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's his collar for his shirt. That's the collar for his shirt. I should black that in.
You probably should.
Yeah. All right, I'm doing it live right here. There it is.
You see, Bill, that's my job on this show.
That's right.
We won't mention the tangent, but you know, we're glad
Shut up.
that.
All right. See, I told you I shouldn't have shown it. I shouldn't have shown it. You lousy son of a. Okay. All right, gentlemen. So we are going back. We're doing 50s. When I say going back to the 50s. So David, what are you thinking of doing here for 50s sci-fi? Batman.
You already know what I'm going to do. So why are you asking?
Okay, David's doing Batman. Dan, what did
I am going to do 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I always loved it.
Ooh, not so we're going to get a Nautilus out of you.
Not exactly.
Wait, didn't one of us do that?
We're gonna get Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, Kirk Douglas fighting the thing,
Peter Lorre fighting the squid and everything. Yeah,
There you go.
Just only one figure. I'm not paid enough for it to do two.
Okay. Kaiser, what do you got? Are you telling me that's what you're doing?
I'm doing this guy. Creature from the black.
All right.
Was somebody else doing this? This guy? I know somebody's doing this.
Very
Close.
nice.
I'm doing the goon from the Black Creature.
You flipped it a little bit there.
It's my favorite Scooby-Doo joke. They named all the monsters in one of their episodes, but anyone who mentions the creature from the Black Lagoon gets sued. So they featured all of the usuals, including the goon from the Black Creature. As a kid, I thought that was hilarious. As an adult, apparently I still do. Yeah.
But what are you actually going to draw, Bill?
Oh, I am going to do something from Forbidden Planet.
Okay.
Because I made a stink about that.
Well, now you kind of.
If you'd settled on 60s, it would have been Space Ghost all the way. But no, Forbidden Planet.
60s got the least amount of votes, and I was thinking I was lined up to do Barbarella, and then we went 50s.
Back in the 60s, everyone was lined up to do Barbarella.
All right. I'm going to do a very sort of I'm doing a more of a generalized 50s sci-fi theme, something you might have seen on like Planet Comics, a cover for Planet Comics or something of that nature. So that's what I'm going to do. Kaiser, do you want me to, let me see if I can, no, that's not it. Is it this one? Oh, wait a minute.
You can just get rid of this guy.
There it is.
Can you get rid of this guy and then just bring up mine?
That would be a pleasure. No, I'm kidding. That wouldn't be a pleasure. Let's see. Okay, let me go back to this. Okay, and then if I bring you up there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, see, it makes you big. So, no, I can't do that. I'm going to.
Can't just do the drawing screen and not my.
Now we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to still see you, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
Katie Dead is here and causing trouble already. First of all, she's yelling hello, which is, I guess that's nice. And then she says, "Wait, where is Gary? What the hell, Aaron? Like I killed him or something? I don't even know what the implication there is." Gary is there, Katie.
I thought I had taken care of him, but apparently they didn't.
He's at David's. He's at David's. All right, gentlemen, start drawing as I go through this. And Gary brought his little sound effects too. That's amazing. Scotsman TV for $5. I was a background inker from 97 to 2009 for Marlo Alquiza from Extreme Studios. So I'm classically trained, but work fully digital now in Procreate. Let's go, boys, he says. All right. Thank you very much, Scotsman.
Very nice.
I like how 1997 is now classic. Ooh, that really makes some of us old. Geek Avenger for 10. Thanks, Geek. Who's drawing the 50s tall Tina McDonald? Bill, that's an inside joke. Sorry about that. That's Gary's territory.
The giant spider.
That's well, there was Tarantula. That was one of my favorite big sci-fi monster movies. Was Tarantula?
Clint Eastwood's first film.
Yeah.
Was he in Tarantula? I thought he was in Creature from the Black Lagoon 2 was his first.
Nope. His first film was he was one of the jet fighter pilots. He was on screen for about 2 seconds, and he was in a helmet and one of those rubber masks that fighter pilots wore then, and maybe had a line. I'm not sure, but that was it. That was his first.
Wow.
What was the name of the Western he was on in the 1950s? What was it?
Rawhide?
Rawhide, but this was before Rawhide.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Okay. Yeah, so he was making the rounds in like cameos in B horror films and sci-fi films, apparently.
Yep.
Because he was in the he had the lab coat on in Revenge of the Creature, right? At the very opening scene, he was in there. Had a couple.
All right.
Hey, Aaron, can you blow up my camera?
I'd like to blow up your mic. But yeah, I can blow up your camera.
You said it sounds better.
No, well, it sounds better, but all right, there you go. Oh,
See
hey,
this?
yeah.
You didn't send me one of these. Gary brought this and gave it to me.
I didn't know you wanted one. I got a ton of them.
Man, it's my art. Of course I would want one. I wanted to see.
Oh my gosh.
See,
Right.
this turned out really good.
It did. Thank you. I colored it, you know.
I mean, besides the color, it turned out really good.
I will send, dude. I'll send you stickers. I'll send you a package of everything you did. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
I got one guy who said, "Don't send me any of the comics. I don't care. I got comics piled up in my garage." And I said, "Okay." So I never know if people actually
They're
want.
like, "Oh, we don't want your crap. I got enough crap."
That's exactly what people tell me. So it's like I didn't know if you wanted any or not. But yeah, I'll send you some. All right, Bill. Here's my question for you. Oh, what's that, Kaiser?
Yeah.
Were you, Aaron? The movie with the giant bird? Is it the Giant Claw? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
You've seen that?
I was looking for like things to draw from the 1950s sci-fi, and I was like, "Oh, this looks stupid. Maybe I should do this."
It was unbelievably bad.
Wow.
But anything with a giant sort of like prehistoric bird in it, I'm kind of like on board with it, you know?
Yeah.
And
So what is the better robot? It came from not from the
Forbidden Planet.
Forbidden Planet or Lost in Space?
Well, they're basically the same robot, aren't they? I mean, they're not, but they are. Bill,
Kind of.
you're an expert.
Forbidden Planet was first, so of course it gets that glory.
Right.
Robot from Lost in Space kind of took everything from Robbie the Robot it could.
Right.
Had better movement because, of course, they put him on a wheeled track carrier rather than that kind of clunky, bubbly feet thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie the Robot is better because it was first.
There you go.
Yeah, they're both super cool. I mean, those 50s design stuff is just, yeah, they'll just doesn't get much cooler.
Yeah,
Robbie the Robot made an appearance in Twilight Zone and Columbo back in the 1970s.
Columbo, yeah. They didn't make him the villain in Columbo, so
No.
But yeah, he's great.
Now, okay, Bill, here's my first question for you. You was Elementals your first thing that you did?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were writer artist on that. So at what point did you spend more time, you decided you wanted to focus more just on writing?
Well, when I got in, there wasn't much information about how to make comics when I got in. I assumed that you had to either do art or writing, but you weren't allowed to do both. So although I was interested in both, I chose drawing in trying to break in. Elementals came about because I would come up with sample pages for Marvel and for DC. And of course, they want to see their characters. And while I was getting some good feedback, I wasn't getting any work there. And I really wanted work because there was a lot of independence just starting then. First Comics hadn't started yet, but there was Capital Comics and Pacific Comics. And
what year would this be?
This would be 81.
Okay.
I want to say.
Was Elemental, wasn't that Kamiko, or is it somebody else first? Am I mistaken in that?
Well, it was going to be Noble Comics. That was a small group that did a superhero team called Justice Machine.
Yes. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Because I didn't want to do new samples for every single one of these new companies, I did what I thought were generic samples. I just came up with pages to draw, which were the Elementals characters, and sent them out to many, many companies. Noble Comics was the first to reply, and because I was just about broke that time when Mike Gusevich, who was running Noble Comics, called me up and said, "Get on out here and do comics for us." I got on a bus and went. When I got there, I asked him, like, what of his comics would I be working on? And he looked at me like I'm some kind of a moron and said, "Well, that series you pitched us, this Elementals." I just came up with like 6 pages of the Elementals to prove I knew how to draw.
So you didn't really have a concept at that point for it?
None at all. So of course I recovered as any good comics professional would do. I started lying right then and there and said, "Oh yeah, of course that." I was just wondering if there was anything else you wanted me to work on in addition to that comic that I very specifically pitched to you. And then I kind of had to force myself into being a writer right away because I had to come up with a story behind.
So they expected you then at this point when they hired you. It was the expectation that you were writing and drawing this.
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, do you guys remember a comic book company called Spectrum Comics?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my first job. That never quite happened, but it was the first pages I drew that didn't get published. I don't think they got published anyways.
Spectrum.
But it was all around that same time, you know.
What was that? Early 80s or mid 80s?
It was early 80s, I think.
Spectrum.
Fred Schiller was involved with that. Fred and Valerie Schiller.
The Elementals, is that the movie with Angelina Jolie that they made a couple of years ago? Marvel?
No, I don't think
no?
so. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Wait, you're talking about the Eternals. You're talking about the Eternals.
The Eternals.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That was Kirby, not Willingham.
Oh, yeah.
So how long of a run did the Elementals go? I mean, how many issues did you end up doing?
We did about 25 issues. And then I very stupidly let the people at Comico talk me into starting with a new number 1 because that was all the rage.
Right. So did this company you started with went under?
Pardon me?
So the company you started with went under?
Well, yeah, Noble Comics went under trying to publish the Elementals. Comico went under publishing the Elementals. A few others. As a matter of fact, Michael Gold at First Comics at one point says, "Look, we don't want to offer you work. We just want to pick the next comic company you work for because apparently you seem to kill them with skill and alacrity. So, yeah, let us sick you on whoever we perceive as our enemies." Yeah.
So you did the series then for Comico, and that's the one I remember seeing. Now, how long did that go for?
Off and on about 5 years. I was not very knowledgeable then about comics, nor professional. And whenever Comico was in violation of their contract with me, which was often, I would just stop working until they began to realize they weren't getting any new pages in. not realizing that since it was my name on the credits, not a single reader would think, oh, Elementals isn't coming out on time lately. It must be that Kimiko violating Willingham's contract and causing him to stop working. No, of course they very rightfully think, oh, that Willingham, he's slow and he's late.
Can't make a deadline.
Yeah. So it took me a while to realize that the company will never be blamed for a late book if there's an artist, a writer, or whomever to point to with J'accuse.
Well, you had quite a buzz going for you, I recall, when that thing first that series first came out.
Yes. Yeah, I managed to squander that nicely.
And you see, it used to be back in the day, they do it now for just about everybody, but back in the day, you get a price guide, right? And it would say, they'd only pull out artists of note to list, so there would be Elementals, and then you'd be, Willingham art, like, oh, Bill Willingham is somebody, And so when it ran its course through Kimiko, whether they died or whatever, where did you end up? Where did you go from there?
Yeah, Kimiko, when they died, they didn't really let us, the artists and property owners, know.
One day they just wouldn't return your phone calls because they didn't exist anymore.
Partially, and partially they blew a lot of happy smoke. They said, look, we're running into a little cash flow problem here, but we're bringing a new partner on board. They introduced this guy, Rev, as their new partner who was going to do a cash influx with Kimiko. What they didn't say is he was not a new partner. He was buying them out for pennies on the dollar. And they were hiding the fact that if the transfer of ownership worked, we'd all be working for this guy, Rev, instead, and the old guard of Kimiko would no longer be part of it. Now, when I thought they were still on the up and up as far as Kimiko, the originators, would continue to exist and work on it, I sold the rights to Elementals for them because I wanted to be done with them, but I didn't want to desert them entirely. And I thought, I've got plenty of ideas for comics. I can do just fine, and I'll just leave them with Elementals as a parting thing. Not realizing that I was actually selling it specifically just to Andrew Rev, who was kind of a dick and a crook. He once, thinking he was bragging, had a bunch of us in a hotel room with him at a convention during the changeover.
Oh, wait a minute, this isn't a Diddy story, is it?
A Diddy? Oh, no. Oh, very good.
We had you all in a hotel room and like, wait a minute, we got kids in the audience. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Well, no, he bragged that one of his business practices is if he ever knows he's not ever getting any more work from a particular artist or writer, he always screws them on the last check because, well, they're not going to work for me anymore anyway, so why not?
Wow.
And this is in the same conversation in which he was trying to recruit and get me to help him recruit many artists and writers to come work for his new Kimiko.
And he's telling you this right up front. Well, I guess.
Yeah. And he was oblivious to a lot of exchange glances at the time as to, well, we're learning something here. He thought he was being clever, and maybe in his mind he was.
Gosh.
Rev just tried to launch the new revitalized Kamiko recently when he acquired one of Rob Liefeld's properties. And you'll notice all the promises that that those books would be coming out. Well, he's incapable of getting any book out. So a lot of those artists, I think, recruited from the South America artists, always trying to come up. Then they got screwed out of there.
They go now. It's like what was it? Andy Smith did a count just recently about the amount of American artists at Marvel right now, and at a given month, 71 artists, 15 were Americans. So it's bye American jobs.
Well, I guess they're always going to go with where they can get a cheaper deal. Yep. Unfortunately. Oh, thank you, Gary. Forgot about that. All right, Stealth sending us food for $2. An apple, a bagel. I don't know if that has cream cheese on it or not. A taco, a burrito. I don't know what that. I don't even know what that is. Ice cream, a cookie, and coffee to kind of. What is that? It looks deep fried. So if it's deep fried, it's got to be good. Thank you for that, Stealth. It's our. He always sends us like food emojis to make us hungry because we're like, we still have like, an hour and a half to go. And we're like, starving. Jack Zanem. Oh my gosh. Jack Zaneman says Ironwood is one of my favorite comic book series. Any chance of a sequel?
Probably not.
There you go. You've just been crushed, Jack. Sorry about that.
In my mind, everything I do sort of exists in the same universe anyway. This is an Edgar Rice Burroughs holdover from when I was a fan of his writing and no one else's for a long time. And especially when I discovered that all of his books, Tarzan, the Mars stuff, everything takes place in the same fictional universe. So in my mind, all of mine do too. So some characters from Ironwood might show up someday, you bet, but probably not the series itself.
Well, when did you end up at DC? Excuse me, at DC.
I early on, while I was still working with and at Kamiko, Kamiko formed a partnership with DC to be the exclusive distributor of Kamiko's books.
Okay. That sounds vaguely familiar to me.
Yeah. They found out after the fact that it was a mistake because their sales numbers didn't go up a single issue. But of course, now there was a new handout in the process of getting paid that that DC needed to get their share long before Kamiko got anything. Kamiko made a lot of blunders. They were trying to learn to be publishers at about the same time that Matt Wagner, a few others, and I were trying to learn to be professional cartoonists. And lots of mistakes were made along the way. But during that time, I became friendly with some DC folks. But Mike Barr, who contacted me at a convention because we had a mutual friend and a fellow named Lawrence Schick who worked at TSR. And he was trying to find a way to get a hold of Lawrence. So I helped him do that, but then he offered me a backup in one of his Batman and the Outsiders comics. That was my first DC work.
Now, did you do that as a writer or writer-artist?
Artist, just an artist.
Just an artist. Okay.
No one wanted to hire me as a writer at that time. So I did a lot of artwork for DC. Often when someone else had disappeared on them and they needed someone at the last minute.
Bill Willingham time.
Yeah. At the time, for a brief time, I was still known as someone who was pretty fast in getting stuff in. The problem is my work at the time showed exactly the amount of time I was putting into each page, which was not much.
I had that problem too, more than once. I can't believe that Gary traveled all the way to New Mexico and brought all of his gear, his sound effects gear with him. Travis Patrick for $2 says, what happened to your book Coventry?
Coventry happened during, I was doing that with Fantagraphics. It was doing well for them, but I could produce it just fast enough not to starve. And that presumed that everything went right, that the pittance they could pay up front when I handed in an issue would never fail to appear, and the royalties it earned would never fail to appear timely, in a timely way, which was fine for a while. I didn't mind. I mean, I had no safety net. One thing goes wrong, and I'm in trouble.
Well, that sounds like all of us for our whole careers.
Well, sounds like the comic book industry.
If you remember, there was a distributor war started by Marvel when they decided to self-distribute and causing a panic.
Right.
And then Diamond started locking up exclusives to compete, and as a result, Capital Distribution and Friendly Franks.
Oh my gosh! Talk about
went under, and went under owing Fantagraphics lots and lots of money. So they said they were going to have to be a little delayed on getting folks paid, and I could not afford a delay, so I had to leave off of Coventry. I was hoping it was just temporarily, to go looking for more reliable pay, which I was able to get some work from DC.
Bill, you should have taken the money at the back end deal.
What was that, Gary?
I said, Bill, you should have taken the money at the back end deal.
What money and what back end?
Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah.
So did Fantagraphics, do they like, is there any money up front, or is everything like based on sales?
Everything's based on sales. I think they do their deals one deal at a time, meaning there's no template, or at the time. You know, I haven't done anything with Fantagraphics for a long time, so I don't know what they do now. But everyone had a separate contract, a separate deal.
So whatever you could negotiate was your deal.
DC had played around for a short while with a clause in contracts called a favored nations clause. Are you familiar with this?
No.
All right. The favored nations clause, which DC was offering to lure Marvel people over. And at this time, DC and Marvel were constantly trying to steal each other's talent.
Right.
Which is fine. We're freelancers. We're not owned. But they instituted a favored nations clause for a few select. And that was a clause in the contract that said anything advantageous that shows up in any other freelancer's contract automatically gets added to mine as well.
That's a pretty good deal.
Based on the trade deals that countries do, which is if you're a favored nation, you get the best deal that anyone else is getting.
That was kind of, wasn't that John Buscema's thing? He was like always had to be the highest paid penciler at Marvel by $1.
Apparently that's why they couldn't do it, because then, you know, if anyone else at Marvel had a favored nation, their pay would go up by $1, which means Buscema's had to go up by $1,
right? And
the cascade would occur, and pretty soon, Marvel's paying infinity bucks to everyone.
All right, so I'm going to bring this up because I'm dying to know. Hang on one second here. John Slunbox for $1.99 says, I've been a fan since Villains and Vigilantes.
Yeah.
John?
Thank you, John.
All right. So fast forward a little bit. You are come up with something called Fables for Vertigo.
No, sweet.
So first of all, what was that something you pitched to them? Did they come to you and say, hey, we want kind of a fantasy thing? Or did you just come up with this and pitch that to Vertigo and say, hey, I want to do this, and had to sell them on it?
No, I was doing a lot of work for Vertigo, specifically for their editor, Shelley Bond, who was one of the last people Kamiko hired before they went under. So she had an editorial job at Kamiko that lasted, I don't know, about 20 days before she was given her walking papers. But she was brand new out of college then and always had a fondness for this, her first job. And even though I, along with others that knew Kamiko was dying then, probably took it out on her, she had a fondness for our old working relationship, as short-lived as it was. So one day she calls me out of the blue and says, I'm an editor at DC now, write something for me. And
wow,
I dragged my feet for a while because at that time, DC had a habit of taking forever to make up their mind about anything. The one thing they were afraid to do was make an absolute, here we go decision. Right. They would take meetings about meetings. By the way, I've got none of these look down progress report things. Do I just hold this up from time to time?
If you want, if you want to save it till the end, you can do whatever you like.
Okay. Well, here's in progress. I don't know. How much
hang on a second. Let me make you big here. Where are you? There you are.
All right.
You can also use a pre-prepared one, and
that's right. You could cheat.
And I gotta tell you, I was tempted. I did a few drawings trying to get a young Leslie Nielsen's face, and botched it. So I'm just going with one of the crewmen. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Shelley Bond. So I was doing a lot of Vertigo work, various things, usually Sandman related stuff, because that was their everything at the time.
Right.
And getting some critical attention, but not sales. Anything I did for Vertigo was selling in the high dozens. And so at some point I realized, and I was happy to continue, Shelley kept offering me, this Sandman thing or this Sandman thing, but I knew that couldn't last. So I started putting together an idea for a book that I was not going to pitch to Vertigo. And there were plenty of other publishers then to choose from. So that was the origin of Fables, was the book I was going to not pitch to Vertigo. And I made the mistake of mentioning it to Shelley in a call about another project, which I did not want to do. 2 sassy female detectives.
Oh, come on.
And,
Who doesn't want that? You don't want to do 2 sassy female detectives?
Shelley, God bless her, would
I'd have drawn that.
Would be influenced by anything she saw on any given day. Sturgis and I occasionally made bets on what things Shelley would see and say, I want a book about this. The whole thing, the young kids on scooters, that was just something she saw in passing and got someone to do it. And anyway, I mentioned on a Friday to Shelley that, all right, I have to wrap up this conversation. I'm working on another thing. And Shelley's very territorial. She said, what other thing? As in, how dare you work for someone other than me?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, it's nothing you'd be interested in because it's not, pouty, rebellious teenagers with piercings in their lips. Which was, kind of the Vertigo brand at the time.
Yeah.
And I briefly described the idea for Fables. She said at the end of the conversation, and she was mad at me. Oh, she was pissed. She said, that is something Vertigo would publish, and you're going to have it on my desk Monday. And I go, well, Shelley, you guys take too long deciding. Once they took 8 years whether or not to do a 6-issue miniseries called Hammerlock, written by a friend of mine, Keith Wilson.
8 years is all.
8 years. And for 8 years, I saw Keith jump through all their hoops and make all their changes. It changed so much over those 8 years. But 8 years later, they finally did it just, and then they did their 6 issues. It did okay and then disappeared. And I said, I'm not going to go through that.
Yeah.
So she promised
Keith
she
Giffen?
would have a decision, yes or no, in a week. And that was a challenge I couldn't resist.
Right.
So I called
Was
her
that Keith
bluff,
Giffen you're talking about?
and they did.
Bill, was that Keith Giffen?
And with Hammerlock?
Yeah.
No, it was now I'm spacing his name. Look, I'm old and my mind is fading. Chris Sprouse. It was his first comic work.
Oh, really? Sprouse?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was lovely too.
So they got back to you on a week, I assume, and
Yeah, Jeanette
hold on,
Kahn was still running DC at the time.
yeah.
She was out the door in a few weeks when this came in. because she was finally retiring. She was going to Hollywood to make movies. Apparently, she saw the Fables pitch and recalled me fondly as the fellow from Philadelphia who kept stomping all over her feet at a DC Christmas party with his snow boots. And always
true? Did you
remembered me enough to say hello and told the people that, yeah, we're doing this. Her ulterior motive was she saw potential as a movie in it.
Sure.
She had already set up a deal with Lisa Henson for a look-see on stuff. So she wanted to carry it out the door with her. So she basically told Karen Berger and Shelley, we're doing this. Karen Berger tried to talk me into making it. Well, I can't see how you get more than a single story out of this. So can we do it as a 6-issue series? And I dug my heels in and said, no, it boggles me that you can't see the long-term potential in this. But no, it's ongoing or nothing. Yeah, we got it done.
Bill, would you say the women in comics at the time were, not these sort of political activists? They were more professional and respectable?
I can't say to respectable. Don't drag me into thorn patch. But
I'm just saying,
yeah,
but they were
professional,
people
you
that
bet.
were serious, business people.
Yeah. And there wasn't the rather transparent agenda then to, if I come in, I want to change everything about the business to fit whatever interests me. So, yeah, I would say, as a general rule, I don't know the minds of. I barely know my own mind at any given time. So,
I mean, I would say that was the state of the industry. Actually, everyone was they wanted to sell comics. They didn't want to necessarily do a agenda,
Right. I don't know what Marvel. I did some work for Marvel, but not much. I did not get along well with their people. I'd just come out of the Army when I was trying to break into comics, and so I didn't have the kind of the humble penitent before, the grand viziers of comics attitude that they were looking for. I suppose
that's probably a good thing, though. I think a lot of us just sort of bent the knee a little bit too much, and if we stood our ground on stuff, we might have actually got more accomplished. I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming, but
yeah, no, I think in the long run, it's the case. It's hard to look at any current situation when your hunger to break into a business you love. It's hard to look at that and tell yourself, don't yield on this and that, because all of these people making these demands of you are going to be gone soon. They aren't going to last. Better people will come along. I forget the question. So
I don't even know if it was one. We were just I was just curious about how this all, because you had the big kerfuffle, I don't know, it was a couple of years ago or whatever, when you got into it with DC over Fables, and you made it public, tried to make it public domain or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's public domain. I know DC is saying no, but my ownership of it was clear, and If they really, as a matter of fact, no one at DC has spoken to me since then. They had that one little announcement in response to the press release saying, no, we own this, which was patently absurd.
Well, so you signed a deal when you did this that, I mean, I assume that was part of the Vertigo contract, right? Is that you guys, when you did a Vertigo book, it was creator owned, right? Or is it partially creator owned, or how did it work?
No, it was creator owned.
Okay.
No, and there's no takes backsies on public, putting something in the public domain. So it is. DC will resist, and they've got a lot of arrogance and a lot of money, and I pity the poor fool who's the first to test it. Legally, they'll be on firm ground, but DC is not above throwing the hammer down in a big way to win where they don't have the law on their side.
Right.
So yeah, sorry to interrupt. What was your question then?
No, I was going to say I've often said that whoever has the most money ultimately wins the copyright, because it is, how long can you survive it in court? But was your decision to throw this into the public arena, was it a falling out with DC, or is it just something you wanted to do and then DC got pissed at you?
Well, a little bit of both. My philosophy on intellectual property has gotten radicalized over the years, and so I was coming to the belief that about 20 years of exclusive ownership is a good amount, that's reasonable. And then if you want to sell it, 10 more years for a corporation to own it is also reasonable. But in the face of things like what Disney was doing, which was getting Congress to keep fiddling with the copyright laws so that they could continue to own Mickey and Company and all of that nonsense, right. It was wearing upon my sense of right and wrong where this is concerned. And I thought, what kind of hypocrite would I be to base a series, a pretty successful series, surprisingly, on public domain characters, but then say, oh no, you can't use all of these wonderful characters I created, in the sense that I updated them, and my version is owned and was owned for a good amount of time. But
did you ever any desire to draw any of these? Because I'm not sure. You didn't draw any of these, right?
Well, I did character designs for them. I wanted them to come out more than an issue a year, so I decided not to draw them.
So the truth is you are slow and can't meet deadlines.
Now I am, because I became particular about what my drawings look like. So yeah, I'm still pretty sure, do about a single issue's worth of comic a month if I don't do anything else ever during that time.
Meaning like eat or sleep or
live.
Almost, yeah. But I want to do other stuff. I want to do a lot of other stuff. So teaming with an artist was kind of required.
Yeah.
We're going to switch artists out a lot. We did some, but Mark Buckingham surprised us by deciding that he wanted a regular home for his work. He got tired of it being bumped from book to book to book to book. and decided, actually told Shelley, who then told me that Mark very kindly informed her that this is his book from now on a regular basis. Will allow other artists, when I need a break. But yeah, he's going to keep doing it, and did so for 13 years, which is unheard of. No one stays on a book
That is a long run
for 13 years.
That book ran that long? I can't believe it.
Yeah. So I got lucky with Mark.
Yeah. When did you start that series? What year?
I want to say either 2001 or 2002.
That's impressive.
I guess I started working on it in 2001, maybe late 2000, but it didn't come out till about 2002.
Did obviously the sales requirements or pressures on Vertigo were less than, say, DC proper, right? Or were they not?
To a certain extent, I think so. But Elementals sold well. Now, part of it is because it got the attention of the right people. Bob Wayne, who pretty much ran DC marketing at the time, and whom I thought loathed me for many years. I don't know why. But he liked it, loved it, and said, we're going to put all of our marketing oomph behind this. It made me feel guilty because that's when I found out that they are very, very selective about what books they really get behind, and in turn get territorial when the artists and writers take it upon themselves to, well, this is my creator-owned book. I'm going to market it myself if you won't. And they will shut that down,
Really?
or would at the time. I don't know now, but they would shut that down because it's like, no, we have marketing plans, and you're screwing up our focus of attention if you take it upon yourselves to freelance this stuff out there. So stop it.
That sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah, you'd think, but it's corporate.
I wondered if that was echoing I was hearing, but it's Gary's chicken sound effect. Okay, now I'm hearing
No,
echoing.
there's an echo.
David, I'm going to send
I didn't do anything. Leave me alone.
a microphone. All right. Let's see here. Leg Kick for $5. Leg Kick, of course, is here because he's almost always here. He says, hello, everyone. Thank you, Leg Kick. Appreciate that. Best name I can think of for $5. Said, Bill, do you have any input on the Wolf Among Us video game, or did you have any input?
I thought so.
What?
In the first Wolf Among Us video game, they got my input. I worked on it. They paid me well for my input. And then after I'd made every correction that I thought worth making for the game, they changed the storyline, and because they were changing the storyline almost completely at the last moment, they didn't have time for my input and just did what they wanted. It turns out what they were really buying was they didn't want a creator of the original IP to say, oh, they're doing a crap job on my beloved property, so stay away from it. At the time, I said all sorts of nice things about it. I still thought they were going with the story we'd agreed upon. So the answer is yes or no. Yes and no. I did have some input, just they didn't,
They didn't listen to you.
use it. Right. Part of the squabble over the second Wolf Among Us, which storyline was just a mess, was them doing it and resenting that I had anything to say about it. But part of the, that was fixed by going public domain. The idea of sending it to the public domain is I'm gambling. I'm gambling that for all the people that are going to kind of crap all over the property and do bad with it or do ridiculous things, there's billions of others out there that, one or two of them might really do a great job with it. But it's owned by everyone now, so, including the people that do Wolf Among Us. They can do their nonsense without fear from me now.
Well, so you're giving up potentially a paycheck, though, by putting it in the public domain, right?
Yeah. I thought about selling it when I was, when I'm done and want to walk away. And as much as I like money, this is better.
But we all have that problem, I think.
Yeah.
That's why we do this show, because we bring in so much cash. Of course, that's a joke, Bill.
Yes.
Liking money and needing money are two different things. So
Yeah, that's true. All right, Kaiser, tell us what you can't tell us that you're working on right now.
Still working for Disney, a Japanese studio in Japan, and what else am I doing? Shoot, it's
So
another one.
You can say who you're working for. You just can't say what you're working on.
No. Or they will find men and destroy me.
We don't want that.
I don't know what they will do. They're multi-billion-dollar studios, and I feel like they have the ability to tap in on the phone calls.
Do you have to sign non-disclosure stuff every time you start on a project?
Yeah, pretty much most of the projects. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
They're cool. They're awesome. Most of them are superhero type projects. I love superheroes.
Yeah,
you could create a code, like to tell people. And the Japanese maybe they can't crack it,
I think the reason why they continue hiring me is because I'm so secretive. Because or maybe I should say I'm scared. I'm afraid.
That works. That works too, right?
Yeah.
Is your stuff turned in? I'm talking to other guys that are I don't know. Do you know Chris Ayers at all?
Chris Ayers?
Yeah.
He sounds familiar.
Well, he's
what does he do?
Animation character design stuff.
What studio does he work? Where does he work?
I think he's working at Disney right now, although I have to. Yeah. I think he is working at Disney right now. But I mean, he did he worked on Alien versus Predator back in the day, and the Penguins. Who was that for?
You're talking about the computer animated.
Yeah, the animated those penguins that were part of that zoo show.
Happy Feet?
No.
Zootopia.
Yes.
You said show. I was thinking of Zootopia, but you said show. Is it?
Well, it was a movie. They did a movie and they were in it, but
Chris Rock was the
lion or the zebra or whatever.
Oh, you're talking about the
Ben
other
Stiller
one.
was the lion, I think.
Right.
No, you're talking about the other freaking movie. Yeah, but it's not Zootopia. It's another one. I forget the name of it.
Okay.
You should know it, David. You work in animation too.
What was it? The Penguins of Madagascar or something like that? I don't know.
There it is. There, that's it.
Is that what it was? Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
I didn't work on that.
Did you?
No,
I did not.
Weren't the penguins part of the Zootopia one, and then they got their own?
I thought so, because then they had their own little TV show.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he worked on that stuff. And but yeah, I think he's at Disney right now. I can't even remember why I brought him up. I was going to say, as your work been, I mean, does it tend to be seasonal, or have you been really fortunate and just like you drop one thing and go to the next thing?
I usually just once the show is over, I go to the next project, or sometimes I'll just accept another project to say at the same time I'm working on. Like everybody else in animation, especially around this time when work is scarce, you know.
Right, that's what I was getting at.
I kind of just accept whatever there is out there. That pays money, of course, pays bills.
Right.
Now, are they doing the same thing where they're going, overseas to get cheaper, artists?
Well, they've been doing that since the 80s, probably.
Okay.
But they're doing that. I think artificial intelligence, and there was a strike. I feel like that strike was probably started by the executives who wanted artificial intelligence to make their way into. Say, oh, these artists are problems. Let's just do their artificial intelligence. But that was a problem because people don't accept artificial intelligence as much as they do real people. So yeah, a lot of the studios are in a financial bind because of a few things. But I'm doing well. I just figured out how to make friends with those who are in charge instead of those who work for the studio.
That's the key, man. You be at the have your friends be at the very top, and that's a better way to keep busy.
Yeah.
I learned that as well.
Yeah. And it wasn't because I was like, I want to one day not be able to have to worry about work. It was just more of like, I'm nosy. I want to know what you do, And so I got to know everyone in the animation industry. Like when I first started at Warner Brothers, my first year, actually my first week, I got to know every single artist that worked at that studio. Background artists, prop artists, character designers, storyboard artists, everyone, all the directors. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's smart. You got a network. That's what part of the job is. If you don't, get out there and pound the pavement and meet people.
Well, that's kind of the difficult thing. A lot of people, they don't really understand that, getting into this stuff. That's such a part of it, is the politics of it. And who you know and who you're friends with.
These people they're not mind readers. They don't know you exist, and you gotta say something,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have so much work on the internet is because I love drawing and I put it up on the internet and I have friends who are like, how do I get a job? I don't know. Like, well, let's say put your stuff up on the internet. They're not going to just, I mean, they have to know that you exist in the first place. And the only way, especially these days, that they know you're out there is by putting your presence online, especially like LinkedIn and Instagram, ArtStation, stuff like that.
Well, it is amazing how much, and they were doing this, even pre-COVID, how much editors were turning to the internet to like look at portfolios rather than the old traditional way of like we had to send ours in or go to San Diego and meet the editors or whatever and show them our portfolio. And it's like, man, they just check the internet now and find people.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it started during the time when I first started, 2009 or 10, right? It was, I was really, me and my friend Chris were the first artists that Warner Brothers had ever hired from the internet. And we worked out, and they were like, "Oh, let's do some more." Yeah, people that were sending their artwork in, their portfolios. If you go to the HR area at Warner Brothers at that time, it was stacks and stacks of like physical portfolios and was never looked at.
Yo,
It used to
Coran.
be trying to get somebody to read
Yeah.
a script was hard. Now it's hard to get people to look at a portfolio. Gary, what were you saying? You're trying to get a question in there.
Kaiser, I was going to say, if I could draw like you and I put my work up on the internet, I'd get a job too.
Yeah, I mean, it helps to be good, right? But some of us have managed to have careers despite that.
Yeah,
So,
but you know, they want to also know that you can handle the job that they're giving you, right? And I realized that was it. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, you got to be knowledgeable. You have to be able to be really good, and also handle the job. It's like execute the job on time because it's a whole process. You know, they're giving you we gave it to the writer. The writer got his work done. We gave it to the storyboard artist. We gave it to the character designers to make sure they want to make sure that, especially in television, everything is working and flowing harmoniously. You know, and whoever's delaying the whole effect, the cycle, they get fired.
Yep.
just make sure it's not you.
Yeah.
There's another guy. I didn't do it.
That guy, he did it. I was like, after I learned like that, there's so many different artists around me at Warner's and all these other studios. I was just absorbing all their stuff just in case I had to do their job.
It's like planning ahead. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, and that's what they gave me. A lot of these studios, they ended up just like, oh, you can do backgrounds too? Okay, do backgrounds. And character design? Oh, yeah. Turnarounds? Oh, wow, this guy is, and so that's what I ended up doing. But the problem with that is that they'll overwork you and pay you the same amount of money that you're, for like just a character designer. And then they're like, oh, I wonder if we can do this with other artists. So you kind of.
Yeah, the other artists hate you too.
Yeah.
They're like, excuse us, don't make us look bad.
You're doing too much. Okay, come on.
It's like those guys that buy flowers for their wives and stuff. It's like they make us all look bad.
There was a story I heard like years ago that I want to say it was in a quote or a story that Wrightson was telling that I think it was Al Milgrom had come into the Marvel offices with a cover that he had done for one of the monster comics or they didn't have House of Mystery. It was whatever Marvel, was doing at the time. And it was this like really elaborate cover with this mermaid, and he did all the scales on the tail and all this rendering on the tail. And some of the older guys, were in the office and saw this and they were all grumbling, going, great, now we all have to work harder, because you got this young guy coming in there that,
that guy probably burnt out and took off.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
now they got this workload.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of the times you don't even realize that some of these artists are just sort of exclusively background artists or exclusively character designers, storyboard artists, stuff like that. You're thinking that, once they stop doing that, they'll just do something else at the same studio or something. When you first start out, like that's how I was thinking for some reason. It's like, no, they just sort of focus on what they can do. Some artists are versatile to where they can do character designs and storyboarding, but majority of the time they're just sort of do what they do.
I mean, that's what I did. I did character designs and storyboards, but storyboards burnt me out.
Oh yeah.
Well,
characters, because I've done character design, I've been doing that for such a long time. I want to get back to doing storyboards because I miss it. I actually really loved it, But I get asked on projects to as a character designer so much to where I feel like that's all they think I can do. These days working remotely,
Do you ever have to go out there and kind of like glad hand people, or are you just you know, settled in New Jersey or wherever, and just they keep sending you stuff, or do you have to make periodic trips out there to make sure people put a face to the name?
Yeah, no, they I guess they know I'm out here because I'm always posting my work on the internet, and so they'll see, oh, that's pretty cool style, you know, and I guess I work in different styles, and say, oh, wow, he's, you know, so they usually come to me. They'll email me and ask me if I can work on their documentary.
So where do you get your you say you posted on the internet. Where do you get your biggest reactions from? Who, you know, what brings in the eyes? What social media platform?
Yeah. It all really depends. Sometimes it's TikTok. Sometimes it's Instagram. A lot of times it's LinkedIn.
First, it was DeviantArt, right?
DeviantArt back in the day, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. The DeviantArt is when I realized viral. I was like, I didn't know. I was like, viral. Wait a minute, what? Like a disease? Like the? I didn't know what that meant. Because somebody said your stuff is going viral, huh? Because I did something with Mr. Incredible and what's the guy from Despicable Me? That guy, Gru. Like one was the villain, one was the hero. Yeah, and it went viral on the internet, and I didn't really know what that was. But I kind of put it together, and I was like, oh, I guess it's popular. That's pretty cool. But I just got back to what I was doing. You know, I don't do this for like the popularity or the however many.
You wouldn't come on this show.
Yeah, no, I really never do anything I just do it because I love art. Period. I love all of art, everything art.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to go viral on anything. So we'll see.
One day I'll love art.
What'd you say, David?
I said one day I'll love art.
Well, you're damn good at it. All of y'all are awesome. So.
Well,
you did two different
one
versions.
Of the reasons why I draw is because of David. I mean, like, you know, I remember like seeing your Batman stuff back in when I first started on the internet in 2000 and 2001. I saw your Batman.
It's shocking that you would see a David Williams Batman drawing on the internet.
Did you put your stuff up on the internet, or did like Warner Brothers put that stuff up?
No, I did.
Okay.
It was on me.
Yeah, because I was like, who is this dude? And then I realized, oh shoot, he's black. That's awesome. You know.
No, I really hate him.
But yeah,
there can't be two of us.
Yeah. No, I was like, man, this guy is pretty darn good, bro. It's like, you know, but I discovered you, and then also James Heron. A lot of the like artists who are like closer to like my age, you know, who were doing like who were into the stuff from back in the day. Because I grew up like loving Norman Rockwell, J.C. Leyendecker, all the, you know, the early 20th century, mid 20th century guys.
Yeah, those guys could draw like a son of gun, you know.
I have a real problem with you using that you liked stuff back in the day, and yet you don't like what we do. I have a real that I just don't I don't understand that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm a 80s and 90s baby, but you know, I appreciate all the stuff like this generation that's coming up these days. It's like they don't care about anything 2 years back. You know, maybe it's TikTok. Maybe the retention is just, you know, is lesser than it was. But I love stuff from like whatever time there was. You know, like 1400s when Leonardo da Vinci was around, 1600s Caravaggio.
Yeah.
Caravaggio, that's his name. Yeah, Caravaggio, that guy. Early 1900s. The impressionistic age, the 1800s, all that stuff, Victorian age. You know, I'm a big art. Doesn't matter what time it is.
Long
You
as
know, I
it-
recently was in our nation's capital. I went to the art, the art museum. They have the National Art Museum. One thing I learned is that early on in the early stages of the painting of just before the Renaissance, they drew really ugly babies. Like
Yeah.
some of the nastiest looking creatures I've ever seen.
And they were
They
horrible.
drew
at
them like
protecting.
miniature adults, just adults.
Yeah,
they
they
did.
were just like you could have put a cigar in their mouths.
I was waiting for some big insightful comment, Dan. You go, they really couldn't draw babies.
Look at the things going. Oh my God, they're repulsive. The Madonnas, some of the Madonnas, like
Wasn't that the joke about John Burns, like little kids and his babies? They just look like midgets. No offense if there's any midgets in the audience, by the way.
Little people, you
Just because the heads were too small.
Right.
You make a baby with the head proportional to the body, like an adult, then they look like pygmies.
That's exactly right. And the eyes need to be bigger. The nose needs to be a little smaller. There's little. It shocks me when people can't kind of get a grip on what a baby looks like. But
at that time, it wasn't. It seems like they didn't do as much study as like Renaissance. During the Renaissance age, they were when it came to anatomical proportions and perspective and all that, they were getting it all wrong. But I still appreciate some of that stuff. Some of that stuff looks pretty cool. What was his name? Hogarth? It was a Hogarth
from Iron Giant.
Not Burn Hogarth. He's from like the 15th. No. It's from like around just before Leonardo, like 1300s. Is based in Europe, Russia.
I kind of feel like we're making stuff up right now.
No.
Right.
He's cultured.
Yeah, he was like one of the. He was like one of the better artists that got the proportions right. His babies looked like babies; they looked like grown men who had some time on this earth.
Leindecker can draw a respectable baby.
Yeah, he could do kids.
Oh yeah, totally.
That.
No, Leindecker was such a great artist.
Oh, he's fantastic.
A lot of his paintings look like they were just sort of sketched. It was like, oh shoot, I got to get this done. Let me sketch this out. But they were beautiful. Like turned out incredible.
So, do you think he was a gay guy?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Those fashion design. Okay.
What are you making a comment about Tucci? Kind of.
It's been documented.
Yeah, I would imagine. So.
He was also, his biggest problem though was he was a major partier, and
he couldn't hang on to his money.
Couldn't hang on to his money.
Yeah,
and it's so weird that he completely fell out of favor. Rockwell stayed relevant, but Leindecker didn't. Leindecker was way more stylized than Rockwell was, I guess. But yeah, he's like he couldn't get arrested, man, in like the late 40s and stuff. And I think he died. I don't know if he died broke, but he had lost.
I heard
He had a fortune. He was like the richest guy and the celebrated artist, in the 20s, and it's amazing.
And end up not being able to get work.
Crazy. Can you imagine being in the late 40s on New York City and bumping into J.C. Leindecker, and he's got his portfolio in his hand? Can't get any work.
Got a tin cup.
That's a crime.
Yep, crazy. But
I would have had him draw some superheroes.
That's
right. Could have done some awesome superheroes, couldn't you?
Imagine J.C. Leindecker drawing Batman, like the early Batman.
Dude, I always thought his stuff, because his stuff was so exaggerated and so stylized, it was like he was a comic book artist before there was really comic book.
Yeah.
He really was.
Yeah.
But even Rockwell would exaggerate his proportions.
True.
Yeah.
His models, and then you look at the actual the finished work. He was really putting those proportions of
Well, dude, you can
a lot of those paintings that Norman Rockwell did, they look more like caricatures of his references.
Yes,
and that's what I like. I love that.
Well,
I mean,
you
it looked
can-
like cartoons.
You can see a lot of Leyendecker in Rockwell's stuff.
Yeah, Rockwell
Rockwell
Oh, yeah,
learned a
totally.
lot from him.
Yeah, totally. I mean, because he was kind of taking over like on the Saturday Evening Post, right? Back in 1917. It's like,
Mhm.
and then later on, Norman Rockwell ended up living like right next door to Leyendecker, which is crazy. That's what I heard. It's like, I was like, wow, to be able like those two guys living together and like feeding off of it. That, gosh.
Well, it's
Aaron,
yes.
what's the time situation?
Gary always, no matter where he's at, if he was on the golf course, he would call me and go, I'm about to go to the 9th hole, but how's the time situation there? Well, I'm going to have to go to 4:15. So we got a little less, about 25 minutes.
Yeah, I'm kind of digging this piece, so I'm not going to rush it. I don't plan on being done.
What happens if we don't finish?
You don't want to know.
The rack.
Yeah, Bill, just make sure you get finished, okay? No,
No one's ever not finished. We don't know what happens to it.
Visiting your home.
yeah, you have to come back, Bill, if you don't finish.
Yes.
No, you
Can't go to recess.
you present what you've got, and then you take a little bit of ridicule for not finishing, but then that's all right.
Only a little.
All right.
Shame, shame, shame. We just screamed that.
That's right.
By the way, did anyone ever see this sci-fi hit 50s movie?
Look at
called-
Bill just got up and left. He's like, I'm done.
I did. I left to discuss.
Anyone ever see a movie
Hey.
called It Terror
Hey,
Beyond
hey.
Space?
What are you
No.
talking
We
about?
got time for
A movie
we got time for
called
Gary's beef.
All right.
50s sci-fi movie called It Terror Beyond Space.
I have heard of it, but I have not seen it.
All right. I liked it. The first time I saw it, my brother and I were watching it, and it was so scary. We turned it off. But then we went outside. We said, we got to see the rest of this. So we went back and watched the rest of it. But it was really scary because it was one of those movies from level to level, the monsters getting through, and which each level, it was a really exciting movie. I don't know if it holds up though. I don't know, because it was years since I've seen it. But boy, I thought it was pretty darn cool at the time.
All right. Well, I'm going to check it out now, Dan, on your recommendation.
All right, well, that's a recommendation from like a 12-year-old.
Okay. Well, 12-year-old Dan is not far from 60-year-old Dan.
Let me know.
David, you
And
had a
it's from the 1950s. That came out.
Yeah, it's not black and white. It's got to be, it's 60s, 50s, something like that. It looked old,
Okay.
sounds like
Do we have time? Do we have time for Gary's beef?
yeah, actually we do. If Gary is prepared, we're always ready for our favorite little segment. You guessed it. What's Gary's beef?
What's Gary's beef?
All right, Gary, what is under your skin today?
eBay.
Okay.
That's good.
And that the buyers don't take me seriously.
The
So-
buyers don't take you seriously?
The buyers don't take me seriously.
All right.
So one Saturday morning, I was making my famous pancakes, as I often do on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing around with the batter, and I noticed that if you trickle batter on the grill and let it, cook a little bit, and then create a pancake around it, when you flip the pancake, the first part of the batter that you put on is darker than the rest. So you can create artwork on a pancake that way. You
Okay.
can write stuff, you can draw stuff. And so I'm playing around, and I trickle this image of Mother Mary.
Was this like some sort of Catholic miracle thing?
I made a pancake, flipped it over, and the image on the pancake looked like Mother Mary.
Okay.
So obviously, the first thought I had was, I'm putting this on eBay.
Obviously, who wouldn't think that?
Yeah, that's the first thing I would think of.
Exactly. In my description, I have to say that, you know, it did look like Mary.
Okay.
My description of the item, I had a disclaimer mentioning that I am not claiming that this is a miracle. I'm not even claiming that this looks like Mary. I'm just saying, you know, you use your own judgment if this is a miracle or not. Start the bidding.
Oh my gosh.
And I get a response that says or asks, does your pancake come with Holy Spirit syrup?
Oh.
Gee, I wonder why they thought you weren't serious.
Imagine. So am I to assume that the pancake did not sell?
Not one single bid.
Maybe they were worried about being able to keep it fresh. You know, it's
Yeah, that's the only thing. Might be a.
Yeah. Okay. That was the reason.
Well, okay, Gary, that was something for sure.
I think they just didn't want to go to hell for thinking that, should I eat Mary?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
David, you may have just done it yourself right now.
Oh my
It
God.
was a pancake. I'm saying they, not me.
Bill, I apologize. I have no.
No, Mary the pancake.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So anybody else got anything to kind of cleanse the palate at this point?
Who was talking a while ago about how bad his inking brushes were? I'm trying to remember. A lot of inking on camera. They were mentioning their terrible brush.
Probably Kelsey, but
maybe.
or Kelsey. We knew him well. My biggest problem is I can't get the brushes I want anymore. I mean, some people did find some of the Raphael's 8404 series, number 2, on Jackson Art or something, which is like, I think they're in Great Britain, but they have an outlet in the U.S.
Yeah, what you want is Winsor and Newton Series 7. Anyone use those?
Not anymore. I used to use them, but I thought the tips on them sucked, so I quit using them. Like that was
really. Oh, I love them. I can't use anything else. I wouldn't ink if I didn't have them.
Really? So
I stopped using those years ago because the quality went down. Maybe I should give them another try.
Well, now America at some point started outlawing the use of actual sable in their brushes.
Maybe that's what happened.
So I get mine shipped from out of country to get the real sable.
Okay, where are you buying them from then?
I have to look it up every time. I buy 20 and 30 at a time, and then years down the road
what does that break down to per brush? Including shipping.
About $10 a brush.
Is that all?
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's what I'm inking with today. I've just started inking. I'm way behind. I don't know if you can.
What's sable hair and why is that banned?
Sable comes from animals called sable.
Yeah, it's like
and Peter, they think it's cruel to use sable hair animals for any kind of service to humans.
Huh.
Even though they don't kill the sable to get the fur, they just give it a haircut.
Huh. I think I would want to get a haircut.
So I was told that the reason the Winsor Newtons fell off was because they however they rolled them, they weren't rolling the brushes the same. But really what you're saying is because they quit using the sable hair, and maybe that was the problem.
I'm guessing. I don't know. I mean, they don't call me anymore to bring me in on their corporate decisions, but that's my guess. But I go out of my way to get real sable.
I'm having trouble procuring my usual baby seal fur so I can clean my dog clothes.
Yeah,
right. You just paid the
you got to get the ones that are authentically clubbed.
Yes,
it does something to the quality of the fur.
Yeah. Oh, if there's any PETA people in the audience, I'm not going to apologize for that. Oh, that's funny.
Going back a little bit, he's a monster is commenting, are we going to call it immaculate refreshment?
Oh, Gary.
Right.
Got a super chat here. It's the Scotsman on TV for $5. Says you got to dip your Newtons in milk when done so they harden and keep their shape, and use genuine brush soap. I mean, is he being serious?
We're not talking about cookies.
Yeah, I was like, you got to dip your. Oh, he's saying your Winsor Newtons in milk when you're done. So
I thought he meant fig Newtons.
Yeah, I was thinking that's because I'm hungry.
I can believe that. I don't do it. I stopped licking my brushes to get the point back, which apparently is causing us all to die. But I can believe that.
I think just working in comics causes you to die.
Yeah. Usually sooner than later. All right. We're getting a little bit of echo from you, David, so I muted you for a second while I was reading this. Okay, so you got to dip your Newtons in milk. So he's saying your Winsor Newtons, you dip in milk when you're done so they harden and keep their shape. So he's saying then you wash them, you wash the ink out with brush soap, then dip them in Newtons. Interesting. I had never heard this before, but that's
also dip your fig Newtons in ink.
Right.
And they hold up well.
I was wondering if there was a flip
crossover.
I do that.
Slammin' Brandon says PETA, people eating tasty animals.
Mm-hmm.
I never leave ink on my brushes because I don't want them. I was afraid that would ruin them.
I eat all my animals in a PETA.
Delicious. Hey, we've got a fairly decent sized audience at the moment. You guys, please hit the like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Helps the channel grow so we can continue to coerce people like Bill Willingham to come on this show. We appreciate it very much.
You mean guilt?
I have been willing to come on the show or interact with you in any kind of friendly way for years, Aaron. I thought you hated me.
Why would you think
when I let you down? At some point, I reached out to you and said how much I loved your work.
Okay.
And I would love to do something at some point. And you flummoxed me by saying, what specifically do you have in mind? And I wasn't ready for that yet.
I remember that because I thought you were like fishing for an artist for something. I was like, oh, well, what are you doing? And you're like, well, nothing or something. And I went, well, okay, so
yeah.
I guess
Bill,
Justice League.
Bill, the first thing you understand is Aaron hates everybody. So
well, okay, there's that.
So it's just if you're not special or anything,
I do remember that now, Bill, and I remember getting all excited, going, ooh, what's he got going on? And then it was like nothing, and I went, well, okay.
Yeah.
Are you messing with me? It's like, are you pulling a Mark Waid on me? Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But
Chris Claremont used to contact me a lot to say let's work together, but never had anything in mind. So I should have known that was a sin that I shouldn't commit myself.
Well, it wasn't as I was just, at the time I was like, looking for work all the time, as any good freelancer is, Bill, right? So it's I thought
I should have had an answer to that question.
You should have. You said, I'm bringing back the elementals. What do you think?
Shit.
My dog's going nuts. Forgive me. Or forgive
I
him.
love it when you're at a show and you run into an editor and they're just making conversation and they're like, oh, so.
I know. Well,
much, and then
I had.
then all you hear after that is crickets.
Yep. Well, it's worse when an editor contacts you just for conversation, and you're like, oh, they got something for me, and they don't, and you're like, well, why are you calling me?
Man, if an editor ever did that, I would hang up on them because I ain't a friend with no editor.
No, I did. I had Ralph Macchio called me after I did
the Karate Kid. No, I'm kidding.
that Ralph Macchio.
No,
the Marvel Ralph Macchio called me up, and I wasn't home, thankfully, because that really would have been humiliating. But he left a message on my machine, said, hey, I just saw your X-Men stuff. It looks really, really great. And then he said, that doesn't mean I'm going to give you anything. I just wanted to let you know. And then that was the message. And I'm like, why are you even bothering to call me to say something like that? So,
yeah, gee, thanks.
Yeah, it was just like, really.
I can put a lot of food on my table with that compliment.
Really appreciate you taking the time. So, yeah. So, Bill, there you go. I thought maybe you were
I don't know how you managed to spin that into a bad thing. If an editor
I thought
calls you and
maybe I
says,
was being a dick, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. I thought, Bill,
if an editor calls you to say you did a good job on something, that's good.
Exactly.
Hey,
Aaron. Nice job. But I don't have any work for you.
Yeah, but he will have work for you. That's the point.
No, he never did. See, he was legendary for messing with people. And
really?
yes,
who was?
Ralph Macchio.
Oh,
and so I was. I took that as just him messing with me.
All right. Well, that's not very nice then.
Well, no. If you do that, you said. He should have, if he had any interest in actually working with me, he should have said, hey, I really like what you did. I don't have anything right now, but I'm looking for something so we can work together. Right? But that's not what he said.
Sure.
He just
Editors are really good at giving you false hope, so that's what he should have done.
Yeah, false hope is that's crap.
Well, anyway. I didn't take it very good. Let me put it that way. I did not take it.
When was that? When did he call you up?
It was 97, 98, maybe. Whenever I did.
It was before Wraith of God, and I since kind of breathe better in the sense that I didn't keep you from creating that.
No.
Whatever I might have had in mind.
Right. No, I don't know. I'm trying to remember I can't remember when that was. You reached out to me. Were we still both at DC, or was it past that time?
Bill was waiting, Aaron. Bill was waiting for you to create a more successful crowdfunding campaign.
That's right. Something that was worth his time to get involved in.
You had just announced that you'd finished up all work on something. I don't recall what.
Garbage Man, maybe?
No, because if it was DC, it would have been. Well, I was always finishing up work on something at DC, looking for the next thing. So, was it pre-COVID, Bill?
Probably.
Okay, then I was still at DC, so it could have been anything, because I was doing a lot of miniseries at the time. Might have been Damage. That series that I did for them.
Yeah, might have been.
New Heroes thing. Well, Bill, I don't hate you. I love you. So don't take any. If I had known you wanted to come on the show, I would have had you on earlier. In fact, it was Dave. Go ahead.
I've enjoyed these things. I would like to be able to go back in time and get included on the Ditko characters theme day.
Oh, so you've been watching that long?
Well,
here we go.
the internet holds these things, Eric.
I see.
I can discover them in my own time.
I see.
Do tell.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Bill. We'll do another Ditko episode in the future, and I will get in touch with you so that you may join us when we do Ditko again.
Can we do a Joe Madureira episode?
See, you're too young. Joe,
yeah,
Matt.
Bill. You know, not only do we really, want people to come on, but we're actually desperate. So.
Damn.
Well, I figured that much out about 5 minutes after I received an actual invitation, rather than hey, we should work together sometime. But
that's right, Bill. When can you come on? You're like, when's the show? I go, tomorrow. Oh, Ivy.
Yeah,
101. I don't know. I just thought, because you had made a comment on the poll, so I figured you probably knew when the show was. But anyway, Ivy 1011 for $4.99. I've always been fascinated with library. Okay, here we go. I've always been fascinated with library drawers, and I'm curious if Bill could share how he uses them. Does he use them to store art? No pressure. Are those library drawers, or are they old pharmacy drawers behind you?
Oh, hold on. I can't turn away without. The secret to keeping your brush is every time you pause inking, just for a moment, clean it. Don't ever let it set. So let me clean my brush.
Dip it in milk too, just in case.
Dip it in milk.
Just in case. Throwing that out there.
That is the special Nabisco Series 7. Anyway, those drawers,
the little ones right behind you.
Oh, the little one. These are apothecary drawers.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
but they aren't antiques. They were made during the height of DVD sales because they're just big enough to hold DVDs.
Are you?
And
kidding?
I wanted a nice place for my DVD collection. These that you see behind me actually hold art supplies. I want to keep kind of a clean work area, but I also want everything I've got to be within arm's reach. Those
are flat
art files, and that is where I keep art.
Right. I've got a bunch of those, but I don't have the apothecary drawers, which I desperately want, but I have no place to put them. I didn't realize that they would make those. That's interesting that they would make those sort of antique-y looking things just that recent.
Oh, yeah. I suspect you can still find them. I went to Amazon, had them send me a bunch.
You got those on Amazon?
Yeah.
Man. Okay. All right. So, Coran, you want a Joe Mad episode? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, let's do a Joe Mad episode. Let's do some battle chasers, guys.
I could get into that.
Here, I'm still working.
His later work. I'm not the incredibly influenced by anime style. I mean, I love that stuff too, but
we don't love anime on this show. Well, Kelsey's gone, so we don't love anime anymore.
Have you done
Have
you done an Edgar Rice Burroughs characters theme?
Yes, but I'd like to do one every week. But we switch it up so that we take turns picking categories. So David always picks Batman stuff, and actually Dan's been pretty good because I know Dan would like to do Barbarians every week, but he's done a pretty good job of mixing it up.
I put a little thought into mine.
Yeah, you do. And Gary always goes old school, like really old school usually. But yeah, okay. Hey, Joe, our biggest watched episode, I think, was when we did Rob Liefeld characters. So.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we probably should do Joe Mad.
Joe Mad, you got Tom McFarlane, you got Jim Lee, you got the 90 guys.
Yep. Well, we did Image Studios one time, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
I drew a Tarzan in the show once. I don't know what that episode was about.
That had to be Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Yeah.
Because I've done
Wizard Sleeves, we all miss Kelsey.
True. We did.
Who's Kelsey?
I've
ever been on here when Kelsey.
You were always replacing Kelsey. That's when we had you. I think the first time you were on, he was probably here. Because I think David found your stuff and he said, let's get this guy on. And we brought you on. And then Kelsey started disappearing quite a bit. And so we'd keep calling you back on. And then it was like, then we started switching up with you and Dan as like guest hosts. And then I figured Dan would be more
the better one. How dare you? No, I'm kidding.
So you're still.
The thing is, if you get to be the main replacement, you get to be compared to Joan Rivers. So
that's right.
So that's not.
Oh my God! I can't believe you would say that.
See, maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe we should have got Coran as.
Well, maybe that's not a bad thing for you then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming.
Challenge. Very New York.
Very.
Her and Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken has a very New York accent, but no one does the New York part of his accent. They're always like, "Hey, what's going on?" But they never do. "Hey, where you going?" Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Gary's still laughing there in the background.
I wonder if he really talks like that, or he hams it up.
I think he does. I think he probably does. I think what's his name? Jeff Goldblum probably does the same.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum just talks weird now, especially like when he was on these talk shows. He's like, yeah, the cosmos and yeah. I mean, like I don't remember him talking that way in 1990s.
Right. Yeah. He's having it.
All right. All right, guys. How we doing here?
Actually, I did a lot more than I thought. I was
pretty good.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up in like, I'll give you guys 5 more minutes and we're going to have to wrap it up because I got to get ready for my Star Trek show. It's not my show, but I'm on it. So,
I do like the Star Trek show, the landing party you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. What episode are you doing?
Well, all right. I'm going to mention that today that Bill Willingham.
Yes, what episode?
Yeah, Bill, that's instant brownie points.
Yep. We're doing the Omega Glory.
Yeah. Okay.
Brownie points from Aaron. You get less respect from the rest of us.
That's right. It's the episode where Kirk says, "E."
Oh man. Jeez.
Aaron, you make my point for me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You do a really good Shatner.
I've spent my whole life trying to.
He goes into Shatner even when he's not trying. He just like it's part of his makeup now.
You'd think I'd have like a Star Trek shirt, but I don't. I'm actually disappointed.
You think you do. You think you have one.
There's a group in Portland that does Star Trek in the Park, a la Shakespeare in the Park, but they just
heard that
recreate episodes of Star Trek in person
in Portland, my hometown.
Yeah, yet another reason why
Yet another reason to get the hell out of this state. Oh, that's good stuff. I didn't know that was here. I know I've heard of Star Trek in the Park, but I didn't realize it was a Portland tradition. Maybe I've been tuned out too long. Spam bot for looks like Australian $5. We are on the other side of the world right now. It's pretty amazing. Congratulations to Aaron. You survived drawing a robot easily in the top 6 today. How many guys are on the show? 5. Thank you. Oh, I don't know. Now that I think about that's kind of Gary. Don't you think that's kind of rude?
I'm watching this stuff and I'm so humble.
No matter how I answer this, I'm going to offend somebody.
It's rude. There. I said it. Spam bot. Oh. I'm sorry, Bill. Go ahead.
Oh, it's just, a full painting of the creature, the
Coran cheats
versus the Kraken. What? I mean, just wonderful stuff. And I have only just started inking. I haven't finished penciling. I do both in stages. And it's a scene that doesn't actually occur in Forbidden Planet.
So
I thought I'd have time. There would be a tiger up there about to get himself disintegrated.
Well, see, you fell for it. See, we get you talking and not drawing, and that's how we do this.
Yeah, because
it's all part of the plan.
Right. It's
tell us about the history of your.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we get to work.
Well, that makes sense. I'm not actually interesting, so there should be an ulterior motive.
Tell us about the.
Right, Aaron, you're 5 minutes late.
I know.
It's not 5 minutes. It's gotta help me.
Oh,
wait a minute. Now it's David stalling for time. That's unusual.
Yeah. David's almost done.
Okay. All right. We'll hang in there. I still got time. I don't have to show for another show for 40 minutes.
Doing a whole cover over there.
I know. Getting into it, man. Well, I could be done, but I started putting shadows in here, and so now I've got I've created a situation.
I'm looking in David's trash so we can do that segment, but there's really nothing in here.
I told you.
there's nothing.
So, Gary, was this a surprise trip to David's house?
All right, I'm done, I think.
No, we've been planning this a while. That whole golf thing was a ruse.
And I see, and I blew your whole bit by muting you guys where you called on the phone allegedly.
Yep.
Yeah, you big dummy.
That was part of the bit, and you shut us down.
Well, I couldn't hear. It was just like it was like Charlie Brown's teacher, and I was like, okay.
Well, you were talking over him at the same time.
I didn't know what was going on. You should have at least let me know.
Oh, but that was part of the thing. We wanted you to be as surprised as everybody else.
You'll let Kevin talk and embarrass himself, but you wouldn't let Gary talk. Yeah, put in my pause.
Oh, well, you see, that's what you get. Do not hide stuff in your home.
Yeah.
Oh, and David, I want you to know that I refilled both of my black Copic markers without a mess. I was very proud of it. Yep. It's like the first time ever.
Yeah, I would always throw mine away, and it would drive me crazy. But I bought a new set, but I'm definitely gonna have to get refills because I'm not paying these crazy prices for these things again.
Well, you know what the trick is? The new refills have these really long noses on them, and they come out, you can stick them down into the pen so that when you fill it, it doesn't spill. So.
And did you get the other pens that you ordered?
I got one of them, and I've been using part of it today along with the What's that purple? The zebra pen, the Kiritaki.
What do you think so far?
Well, I got the. I didn't get the. I got the hard nib one. I don't. I'm curious to see what the flexible tip is.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. But it hasn't really separated itself for me from the other ones yet. I mean, they're all pretty much the same.
Well, I was telling you also you could color over them once you're.
Oh, that's right. Which is the catch. All right.
But I would advise color first and then ink after, so you could keep the vibrancy.
You know what Bill Stout does? He inks his drawings. Oh. He inks his drawings and then watercolors over the top of them, and then he goes with the clear water. Puts clear water on his brush and goes over the blacks and kind of rinses the paint off the blacks to sharpen up the blacks.
Oh, okay.
Which seems like a lot of work, but
yeah. We should get him on the show.
He doesn't like Gary. He doesn't, right, Gary? Isn't that right? Aren't you the one who told me that?
Well, we had a thing, but I think we worked it out. I mean, the end of the phone conversation was very pleasant.
Oh, okay. Well, when I brought this up before, you were like, yeah, I don't know. So I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, you never know, but I'm just saying that the conversation didn't start well, but it ended well.
Okay.
We could do an intervention. Aaron, don't even tell either one it's coming out and say, you guys, you know you love each other.
Do it like Dr. Phil.
This is someone from your past.
So what happened when
Do you recognize this voice?
you remember when you...
Okay, I'll reach out to him, see what he says. Because Bill Stout, much like Bill Willingham, has some pretty crazy stories.
Oh yeah, Bill Stout has done stuff.
I mean, he's done some weird stuff. That's the thing.
I don't think Bill's stories are that crazy. Are we not paying him enough? Or
well, no, Bill
does it cost more to get his crazier stories?
What? I thought that. Are you saying he wasn't interesting? He's not.
No, he's interesting, but I mean, I'm just saying like salacious material, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I didn't mean to imply that, but I mean, Bill Stout used to do bootleg album covers, and the guy he was doing the album covers for, he would meet in a parking lot. The guy would roll the window down, and he'd give him the artwork, and he'd give him the money.
Hey, that's pretty wild.
It was like a drug deal or something, you know.
I'm done.
The old days before internet, man. I remember like doing storyboards, and I would finish them around 3 a.m, drive to somebody's house, and put them in their mailbox. You know? Like,
yeah. Until you got caught, and things changed. All right, I'm finishing inking this girl's hand, and then we're going to go forward with the end of the show.
So what's the worst thing you spilled on artwork and saved the artwork?
Ink. Is there anything worse than ink?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I spilled a whole bottle. I spilled a new bottle of ink on my carpet.
Well, at least it wasn't.
Is there any remedies for ink? Is there anything that?
Well, Joe Rubenstein used to ink my pages naked, and I never wanted those pages back.
See, he gets a bit bigger cut of the split that way.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Did he inform you?
The best thing I can think of is claiming I missed his super chat.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Who?
Yeah, that's
I'll check.
possible.
I'll
It is
check. I'll
possible.
check. I'll check. Hang on. I'll check.
If
Best
I
name
have
I can think. Yeah. Here we go. Best name I can think of for $2. Are you going to Based Con this year in
Probably Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids.
Bill?
Bill. That's me. Yes.
Yes.
When is that?
Based Con. When is it?
Yeah, when is it?
September, I think. Maybe late August.
Okay.
It's the nicest con I've ever been to in the sense of there was no politics at all. Well, I guess some of the cons in my distant past were like that, but now they're full of that nonsense. They're full of anyway.
Yes.
It's thoroughly enjoyable, and I pretty much dedicated myself to going every year.
Have you ever? Do you know John C. Wright, the sci-fi writer, is and Jaji Lamplighter?
Probably. I got to tell you,
I think they went to it.
Yeah, remembering names is
He's a famous sci-fi writer.
Yeah, there's a lot of famous sci-fi writers there, but I can't always remember names, and that makes me tentative about claiming to know the ones I do know. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, that was okay. All righty, guys, we're going to show our wares here, and I mean what we just drew. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, I'll start because it's, Gary, clean it up. All right, so we have a
yikes
50s robot menacing this poor damsel.
Wow.
So there you go. Guess I could have put some shadow in. I probably should put some shadow under here to kind of ground here, but you get the idea.
All right, this is like one of those horror, pulp covers where the girl's caught in a graveyard in her night clothes.
Yep.
So how does this girl get in this situation?
No. This is, I went and looked at one of 50s sci-fi movie alien gowns, at one of the alien chicks, like Mars Needs Women type thing.
Okay.
She was
It's
wearing
a pleasure robot. Oh my gosh. Slammin' Brandon says, I voted for John Malin. Yeah, screw you.
John Malin.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see what David's got here.
Oh man.
Oh wow, that's
you went total that is so funny. You went in that style too.
So I basically just redid
yeah, I'm looking for the sci-fi.
299.
Hang on a second. David, start again.
I said I basically just redid Detective Comics number 299. Like, you can look it up and just see what I did.
Yeah, you just did a better version.
That's nice. That is so great.
I didn't know we could draw superheroes.
Look at Dan's all mad. Did you cheat? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Who's going to follow David?
All right. Well, Dan Lawless is going to.
I'll take the dive.
Oh my goodness!
Look at that!
Wow.
Isn't that nice?
Oh, that's really good. Look at those pants. Look at those rights and folds in those pants.
Yeah.
That's
hey,
awesome.
send me that one to ink.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, I ain't inking a damn thing when I get it. Just send it so I can. Oh, I thought I muted myself. Send that one for me to ink.
Look at that!
I actually like this one. I think this turned out pretty well. I'm happy.
It did. No, that's nice, man. That's really good.
That looks like a cover too.
You gave him that the stripy shirt that Kirk Douglas wore.
Yeah,
that's right. Well, it is supposed to be Kirk Douglas, but I have to work on it a little bit to get that likeness down better.
You know what, Dan? You're dicking around not doing a creator-owned book.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Dan.
That's pretty cool. I did.
Now you know who.
I like
Dan,
I like the left foot off the ground.
Yeah. Dan, you know who would like to work with you but doesn't have a project at the moment? Bill Willingham.
Okay. Hey,
You're all
I say no to nothing. Like,
All right, that's awesome. Okay, Coran, let's bring yours up. There it is. No, there it is.
Ah.
Oh,
Oh,
I love
man.
Man, Coran is like, who doesn't like my dick in the butter dish?
what?
Yeah.
what?
Oh, man.
What's that mean?
I don't even
I
want to
don't know,
know.
but
I don't even want to
that was
know.
pretty good.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to say, I know exactly what that means.
Oh, man.
Gosh.
It's Coran's
This is my
party.
first
That's
ever joining this guy.
Uh,
I've never joined this guy before, but he's fun. It's pretty much just all lips and some pins.
now the color's nice too. The lighting effect on there is really nice.
Yeah, I actually
Just
really
perfect.
love the colors.
Yeah.
man.
I'm waiting for him to say, OBKB fatted out.
Yeah. Right?
Oh my god! All right.
Yeah.
Bell Winters says, "Pardon my French, but holy s, this looks awesome, Dan." So she's talking about Dan's.
Oh, thank you.
One.
Hey, I got included in one of the latest Bell Winters videos, the Comics Gate Live one. I mean, I'm rowing the boat. If you guys watch it, it's really fun.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Without a beard. Katie did says amazing. I don't remember commenting on mine, but that's okay.
Thank
She
you,
likes
Katie.
yours, Coran. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hey,
this is
Creature,
fun.
we're going to go to Atlantis. OBKB.
Oh, my goodness. Was that really big?
all right. So now we go to our special guest, Bill Willingham. Bill, what show you got?
I guess that's special needs guest, but this is as far as I got.
Oh,
I did not manage my time well. It's them and the tiger, so far.
It looks great. Now you're inking them. I'm just
finished
penciling it.
piece.
well, you see, Bill gets automatically eliminated because he didn't finish, but we still love
I
you,
am.
Bill.
He's doing ink. I never get eliminated. I just do pencil.
Well done, Bill.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, very good.
Sleeping Psychopathy says, Aaron, what the hell? I wanted to see you react to the dancing priest. I watched that video like last night, so I've seen it, but I'll show it I'll probably go over it on my Sunday show. But thank you. That Bill Winters put together this incredible video where she put people's faces on actors and cut this thing together. It's really, really entertaining. But
oh my god, the Star Trek one with your that's so great.
I know it was like a whole episode. Matthew Muma says, looking great, Bill. Admiral Wackass says, I'll be back next time, Bill. I'll be back next time Bill is on. So apparently he doesn't watch unless Bill is on. Thanks a lot, Admiral. Bloody Drake says, very nice. So Katie did now is saying, hush, I loved yours, Aaron. Okay, thank you. After I had to ask her for the compliment, though. You noticed that, right? Okay.
Or you overlooked it.
Oh, maybe. Henry Jeremick says, Aaron, yours reminds me of Gil Kane's Captain Marvel 18 cover. Oh, it kind of does, doesn't it? Except Gil Kane's robot. I love that robot he put on that cover.
I love Gil Kane's robots. They're great.
Mm-hmm. Just simple, but yet had so much character to them.
They got personality. Well, because his anatomy is so cool. So he puts that right into his robots,
Belle is saying it was just so fine to put you on that scene. I couldn't resist. Like there was a dancing priest, and she put my face on the priest. So.
They're great, man.
Yep. All righty, guys. That's going to do it for this week's show. I want to thank Coran Stone for joining us and kicking some butt with that creature from the Black Lagoon, and also our special guest, Bill Willingham, talking about the good old days, and we even coerced him to draw. So how about that?
Thank you for having me. I love being had.
Well, this is the place for you. We will have you back, Bill.
And maybe I'll be done with this time's drawing.
You better be. You can't come on unless you can say this is what I
your homework
last time. So,
all right.
Please remember, everybody, hit the like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. We greatly appreciate it. Also, a lot of people have campaigns, including myself, Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow. Link is in the description of the video, along with David and EVS's Fearsome. Link is in the description. Dan Lawless's YouTube channel. Go and sub to that for great art tutorials. Check out Kaiser's Instagram page. There's a link in there. Bill, I didn't link you because I didn't know what you had going on. But if you
I got nothing I can confess to at the moment.
Okay, so but next time we have Bill on, he'll have something to hawk.
Bill, we really appreciate you coming on. You're a legend and the comics industry, and we really, we're very grateful. So
Yeah.
That's Dan being very nice. He's the nice guy on the show.
He is being very nice, and thank you so much. It's undeserved, but thank you.
No, you are a legend, and if you could just remember it, that'd be all we cared about. Remember the good old days.
Yes.
I'm making a joke about you making your memory jokes, Bill. Jeez, if I have to explain it.
I didn't get it either.
All right. Well, it wasn't that good of a joke. So what are you going to do? All right. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. You guys be here next week. Jeff Johnson will join us for Graybeard's studio. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill.
Corn dogs. Corn dogs. Corn dogs.
Thank you.